A few days ago, I made this video regarding the YouTube channel Round Saturn's Eye. It was one of the first videos I've watched from his channel in a long time. I want to bring your attention to this part in my video. This is from his own video, Round Saturn Eye, where he says the veil of holies was rent from top to bottom to expose the black cube of the Old Covenant. There's nowhere in the Bible that says a black cube of the Old Covenant. If you go over here, I'm just going to see if I got the right thing up here. It's got to be one of these tabs, so just stick with me. I thought I had it right up here. 1 second. Let me pause this and I'll get the link. So here is what I wanted. I'm at kingjamesbibleonline.org, and this title is The Holy of Holies. So I just want to point to this. In the Holy of Holies, it contained the Ark of the Covenant only. And then it says it was in the form of a perfect cube of 20 cubits. It doesn't say a black cube. Now, the reason why this is important is because if you go out, do a search, and I typed in black cube Holy of Holies, you'll see that in the occult and these esoteric sites have false teachings, and they'll say that Saturn, they'll tell you that, the planet Saturn represents Satan, okay? That's what they teach in the occult. And they'll tell you that the black cube is Saturn symbolism, which really is a Satan symbolism. So hopefully you're following me. And if you just read this first intro here, it says Saturn, the black cube, the house of sacrifice. So then these occultists will say, Saturn, and they'll say Saturn L, which L was another title for God. And they'll use that, and they'll say Saturn L required sacrifice. And these channels like Round Saturn's Eye will then relate this to the God of the Old Testament, because remember that El was another title for God. So they're basically calling the God of the Old Testament Saturn. They're basically calling God of the Old Testament Satan, because remember, Saturn and Satan are the same thing to these occultists. This is the same thing that the YouTube channel Odd TV was doing, okay? He was, saying that the God of the Old Testament is Satan. I mean, that's what he's doing. It's the same thing that Round Saturn's Eye is doing. Because if we go back here, in 2015, this video was published. Round Saturn's Eye calls the Ark of the Covenant the Satanic Cube. They're doing this on purpose. And then Round Saturn's Eye had videos, and this is important because he has 100,000 subscribers. He had videos where he's showing the cross, where Jesus Christ died. He has that video and says the cross is really the cube. Once again, Round Saturn's Eye is doing the same thing he was a year ago. He's doing the same thing today, because my video on Round Saturn's Eye was done just recently. And it's important to note that these other channels are doing the same thing, okay? One example I have, you can just go to my channel and check out some of my playlists. This is the reason why so many people are mad, at my channel. And I might have to add, another playlist here, because I had a video set to private, but I'm going to re-upload it, I think. I was kind of mad in the video, and I wasn't sure at the time, but I think I'm going to re-upload it because the YouTube channel Spy Kitten TV still needs to be warned about. And I see I don't have that playlist, because she too was doing the similar thing, Saturn symbolism, and then showing, basically the Jewish star, and saying that, the Jews are basically, she's calling them of Satan. And I have a comment of hers, a screenshot, where she's blaming the Jews for that. So I'll probably re-upload that video. And it's the same thing that White Rabbit was doing, and you can check that out. He took some of those videos down, but he still did it, and he never came out and said, okay, I'm sorry about that. And this is from, Spy Kid TV, and it kind of just shows how they're doing some of the same stuff and showing occult symbolism. And again, they show Saturn symbolism, and then they say L. See, like, here you go. Father God's L. And then they'll show something like the Jewish star or the cube or the cross, something like that. And White Rabbit, even though he took this video down, he never came out and said, okay, that's a false teaching. He never came out and said that. He never really made too many videos saying, hey, Round Saturn's Eye, what you're doing is wrong. And why I bring that up, because these two channels were kind of promoting each other, right? In the Christian Truther Network. For those that aren't aware, there was this thing called the Truther Christian Network where, some of these channels were together in this network. I don't know about you, but if I was in some kind of network or part of this channel, and some of these channels that maybe, let's say I wasn't a part of, but let's say I was, and I found out they're false teaching, I would want to make sure that I have nothing to do with those channels. I would tell my subscribers about these channels and warn my subscribers about these channels. So once again, you have these channels like Round Saturn's Eye, White Rabbit, Spy Kid TV, Odd TV, who Nicholson 1968 promotes. They do similar things. And same with A Call for an Uprising. They blame the Jews. They show the Star of Israel and say it's Saturn symbolism. And some of these channels like Odd TV and Round Saturn's Eye will claim that God of the Old Testament is really Saturn and is Satan. And they're doing this because they've been deceived, and they want to deceive you into thinking that the Old Testament isn't relevant. Channels like Round Saturn's Eye want to fool you into thinking that the Old Testament isn't the truth. The New Testament and the Old Testament are the truth, and Jesus Christ quoted from the Old Testament. So watch out for this, and it's by design, in my opinion, because what are the chances that a lot of these channels are doing that, are doing the same kind of videos? And once again, I'll take you to the search where a year ago, Round Saturn's Eye was called the Ark of the Covenant, the Satanic Cube. For those that aren't aware, a lot of people called out Round Saturn's Eye for what he was doing. He was mixing occultism in his videos. At the same time, he was false teaching. He was going against Christianity. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. The same wolves that the Bible warns against. Be vigilant out there, because some of these channels are out to destroy. And I'm doing my job, warning you against some of these channels. You can check out my playlist. A lot of these channels, including Face Like the Sun and The Vigilant Christian, are against the Jewish people. And whether some of this, in the case of Mario's case, if it was out of ignorance, he still doesn't have an excuse. You could do an easy Bible study and he'd have its answer pretty quickly that he's wrong. So he's one more channel that calls Israel a synagogue of Satan. Face Like the Sun is against the Jewish people. So is A Call for an Uprising. So is Tex Mars. So I'm making these videos to warn you about these channels. So stay vigilant out there.